first thing I want to do, first thing I want to do for our continuation of Nier is I want to show the opening scene.
Vice, you dumbass!
This one.
Start making sense, you rotten book, or you're gonna be sorry. Maybe I'll rip your pages out one by one, or maybe I'll put you in the goddamn furnace. How can someone with such a big smart brain get hypnotized like a little bitch, huh? Oh, Shadow Lord, I love you, Shadow Lord. Come over here and give Vice a big
So hopefully
sloppy
I can
kiss,
show
Shadow
you
Lord.
why we
Now
didn't
pull your
watch
hair out of
this.
your goddamn ass and start fucking helping us!
It'll be very apparent. Oh, look, there's one of the later game bosses. There is a meal just shown off in his skeleform. There he is at the very end of the game. Oh, look, there's Popola yelling at us. That's fine. That's fine. Some gameplay stuff. Oh, look, one of the end game bosses. There's the town getting attacked. Confirming that the village is going to be pretty much assaulted, at least. There's the top-down view for about halfway through the game. This is fine. This is fine. That's fine. That's fine, too. Some earlier game stuff. Oh, look, it's the Airy boss fight again. Yeah, maybe not show that. This is a bit much. Oh, look, there's Yona at the end of the fucking game. Wow, how could they spoil any harder than that? I wonder. Oh, look, there's One-Eyed Boy along with Emil. Oh, there's Kaine getting impaled. That's fine because it's early game. That's fine because it's a bunch of basically nothing, happy stuff, but there's Emil again getting shown off in his skeleform. Oh look, there's the last boss in the game, the Shadow Lord. Get a good full eye view of Emil. Oh, look. We can tell that scene with Fira doesn't end very well when we first see her. There's the end of the game again, but at least that part you don't really know. Hey, finally something from the beginning of the game. And there's a bit of, shade dialogue. So the reason we didn't watch that opening cinematic first time we went through is pretty obvious when you take a look at that. Because holy fuck, are there some spoilers? There are some incredibly major spoilers in there. And I'm surprised that that's their preview of the game on the opening. I can understand showing, you know, maybe a little bit of late game boss stuff. But holy shit, guys. When you have such an incredibly story-heavy game and story-driven game, maybe don't show off the big important parts. No, I think that was just a poor choice of stuff to show off, seeing as they're spoiling literally even the final boss. I kind of wish more bosses played similar to the final boss and had more difficult bullet patterns like him, but shows a bit much. Most of them won't make sense without much context. They said that they should have thrown in some fake scenes as well, just to screw with people. Fake scenes, maybe? I find that a little questionable. I think they should have stuck with as much stuff from the first half of the game as they possibly could have. Because there's still a lot of cool moments there, and a lot of interesting stuff that they can show off visually. Now, the reason I haven't hit continue yet is the second we hit continue, we will be walking into Kaine's story, because that is where we left off. So before that, thank you, Zebra, for gifting a sub to Razor Scooter. Razor Scooter, welcome to the basement. Glad to have you here, buddy. 4 months in a row, welcome back. Anyway, let's go ahead and continue with Nier. Because, if you thought the depression train was going strong before, chat, are you ready to get hit with a double dose? Yes, because what we saw in our first playthrough of Nier was merely baby steps into the pain that is going to be felt in your heart. You didn't have a question, Zebra. Anyway, let's continue. Asked if I was going to play Drakengard. Probably not. Signs point to no. Or question, why does Yoko Taro feed on the tears of players? Yoko Taro feeds on tears in general. Even his own. Why everything must be depressing.
Whenever I interacted with Kaine, I was reminded about something from my
So
past.
here's where we start off, halfway through the game.
Maybe
Since it's
my mind
Kaine's
has been
story,
confusing her
starting
with
off
my
right as we
sister this
save
whole
Kaine
time.
from the stone.
Here we go.
So chat, what we're doing here is we're replaying the second half of the game, but through a different perspective. Kaine's dreams discrimination. You guys ready for story time? Pay attention, boys and girls. It's gonna be a test. Sound of rain filled the village. Steep cliffs that surrounded the area magnified the sound, causing even the slightest drizzle to rattle like a thunderstorm. Thin wisps of smoke streamed from huts as the villagers huddled in their homes and waited out the rain. A single child, however, had braved the downpour and was now wandering slowly toward the wooden hawk-shaped weather vane at the center of town. The wanderer reached the vane, which had existed for as long as any could remember, and stared. The child's face was simultaneously delicate and fierce, like a teacup that had survived a shipwreck. Those traits combined with pale white skin to give the face an almost sexless quality. The back turns east, go home. It stays west, then I... The child blinked, rain slowly dripping down the young one's short hair, and began its long descent to the ground. Come on. Come on! The child felt a slight breeze and watched as the veins slowly creaked to life. Spinning this way and that for a moment, finally settled with the beak pointing firmly toward the east. East? Really? Before the vein could move again, a jagged rock came spinning and tumbling through the air, finally striking home against the child's head. The force of the blow dropped the child to the ground as a hail of stones began to fall all around. Oh no, they found me. A heartbreaking smile crept across the child's face as the stones continued their assault. Through the rain, the sound of multiple footsteps grew louder before a voice rang out. Yo-ho, Kaine! The voice belonged to Demo, worst of all of the bullies in the area. As Kaine struggled to stand, a final stone came skittering through the mud and bounced against her foot. Blood oozed from a cut above her eye and blurred her vision, but she could make out the shapes of Demo and his usual gang of idiots. The boy seemed taken aback for a moment by Kaine's seeming indifference to the blood dripping down from her face, but quickly regained his bravado. What's up, freak? You like the rain? You like getting all wet? Or did you finally decide to run away from home? Though she knew it was futile, Kaine turned to leave. Before she could get more than a few steps, the other children scrambled to surround her, cruelty burning in their eyes. Kaine knew those were not the only eyes on her. Tormentor's parents watched from the safety of their homes. She was attuned to this sensation. It was one that she had experienced. It was one she had experienced many times before. While some villagers simply turned a blind eye to the actions of the children, many encouraged it openly. In a society ruled by superstition and fear, Kaine was something to be hated, if possible destroyed. I didn't say you could leave, freak. Demo's words chewed at her like a worm through an apple. He can't hurt me, she lied to herself. Be strong. Be brave. He can't hurt me. He can't hurt me. He can't hurt. Oh, look. The little freak's gonna cry. What's wrong? Are you sad that everyone hates you and wants you dead? Chat, do you feel uncomfortable yet? Kaine prayed for the rain to flood down and carry her away from a world that seemed to have no place for her. But if there were gods, they chose to ignore her. As Demo crept ever closer, the clouds began to thin and the rain slowed. Even the weather hates me. Useless. Failure. I wish Demo's rock had taken my head off. If you wonder why Kaine hates the Aerie, Kaine couldn't meet Demo's leering gaze. She lowered her eyes and stared at the muddy ground below. The bully moved forward until he was inches away. She could smell the scent of old meat on his breath. The boy grabbed Kaine's face with thick fingers and yanked it upward. She tried to turn away, but he forced her gaze back and jammed his thumb against her eyelid to pry it open. You're a freak. Oh, I'm not. Did you just say no? Demo grinned evilly. You don't say no to me. No one says no to me. Not even taking his attention from Kaine, he called to his cohorts. Come on, guys, let's give the freak what she deserves. As soon as Demo finished, kicks and blows began to rain down upon Kaine. Demo paused, still grinning as Kaine curled into a ball and tried to make the pain stop. I don't get you, freak. What you acting like a girl for, huh? Everyone knows what you really are. Kaine ignored the question, choosing instead to stare at the weather vane. Continued to point east, as if supremely confident about the future it had chosen for her. Go home? Yeah, that's a funny joke for someone with dead parents and no home to go to. Freak! Chanted the children. Freak, freak, freak. Kaine closed her eyes and listened to the rain, waiting for the pain to start again. As the clutching hands of the village children closed around her, she bent her mind to the sound of the rain, letting it become her world entire. The rain fell, but the pain never came. Only when the laughter of her tormentors turned to terrified cries did she dare open a single blood-caked eye. Kaine was shocked to see Demo sprawled on the ground, holding his head and screaming in pain. You could see blood welling from spaces between his fat, twisted fingers. Oh my god, he's crying. He's actually crying. Deprived of their leader, the other children glanced back and forth between themselves, as if waiting for someone to step forward and take charge. When no savior emerged, they began an uneasy shuffle away from Kaine. But the young girl was the least of their concern. Instead, their attention was rapt on the ancient woman standing a few feet away. After struggling for breath for a moment, she finally spoke in a voice thick with rage. Hurts like a bitch, don't it? Now I suggest you scatter before I throw another one. And if any of you little bastards ever touch my Kaine again, I'll do far worse than throw a rock. You can count on it. The old woman crouched down and gently touched the hand Demo was using to cover the wound. Before he could think to protest, she ground her palm into the wound and twisted back and forth. Ow! He screamed, leaping to his feet. Stop it! What are you doing? Quit whining. Ain't no one ever died from a scratch. You hit me with a rock, you stupid bitch! A big one! That thing could have killed me! The old woman shrugged. Death is the best cure for stupid. Demo's face twisted with rage at her words. Locking his eyes on Kaine, he took a step backward and spat on the ground. Get out! Leave this village! No one wants you here! Either of you! Seeing the old woman grab another stone, Demo and his companions turned tail and ran. As they fled, the old woman grabbed her side and barked out a single laugh. Ha! Look at that fat boy go! Guess he's healthy enough to run from a fight. The woman's smile faded as she turned her attention to Kaine. Kneeling down, she removed her shawl and placed it around the young girl's shoulders, then produced a cloth from the folds of her dress and began blotting at the blood on her forehead. Kaine, she said, why didn't you fight back? You're stronger than that lot. Words of her grandmother stung Kaine. She turned away. Don't be nice to me, she said. I don't deserve it. Nothing matters anymore. Her tears, held in check for so long, finally began to fall on the muddy ground below. Everyone hates me. They think I caused bad things to happen. They think I'm a freak. Wish I was dead. As Kaine's tears turned to sobs, he felt her grandmother's hands on her shoulders. Despite her advanced age and diminutive size, she was a woman of surprising strength. Kaine found herself unable to turn away. Don't talk like that, Kaine. It's a river wide and deep that flows between the realms of this world and the next. It grants no mercy to any that attempt the crossing. You got a duty to fight until your last breath. Understand? The old woman tightened her grip and tried to still the tremor in her voice. You know the pain of losing someone close to you, Kaine. You know because you survived it. As the words hit home, Kaine was struck by the force of her love for the old woman. As a young child, she didn't even know of her grandmother, but when her parents died, the woman quickly accepted her as her own. Grandma, as Kaine called her, was cunning, vulgar, and quick to violence, and the first few years together had not been easy. But with each year that passed, Kaine and her grandmother had grown closer. However, it was only now, sitting in the mud with tears and blood caking her face, that Kaine truly understood the depths of her affection. Here was a woman who had seen hard times, who had seen death, who had fought through all these things and somehow emerged on the other side. If anyone could understand Kaine's pain and loneliness, it was her. Do I make you sick, Grandma? Of course not! Don't be an ass! Kaine drew her grandmother's moth-eaten shawl around her body and shuddered. But my body, it's not normal. If I was normal, then Mom and Dad wouldn't... Hush, interrupted Grandma. I'll not hear another word of this nonsense. You're my granddaughter and I love you, and if folks have a problem with that, then they can just go to hell. With that, the old woman reached out and placed a wreath of dried flowers on Kaine's hair. The skill it took to bend the flowers without breaking the stems or losing a single petal was remarkable. The beauty of it made Kaine want to cry all over again. My gosh, these are lunar tears. Grandma, you made these for me? Lunar tears were legendary flowers. Most people could live their entire lives without ever seeing one. And yet her grandmother had somehow collected a dozen or more. Kaine reached up and touched the wreath as if she couldn't believe it was real. Where did you find these? Ah, you know. Just stumbled on them one day while I was out doing the shopping. The old woman turned away as she was explaining, leading Kaine to suspect the search had been much more difficult than she was letting on. The pains she took to construct the ornament, let alone track down the flowers used in its construction, made Kaine's heart hurt. He reached up and gently adjusted the wreath, admiring the way it felt between her fingers. Didn't quite turn out right, said her grandmother as she squinted at it. These old hands have trouble with delicate work, but it sure looks good on a pretty girl like you. Kaine blushed and turned away. You think I'm pretty? Of course you are. What a fool thing to say. Thank you, Grandma. Her grandmother smiled. We're gonna be fine, you and me, she said. Long as we got each other, we'll be just fine. Kaine took her grandmother's hand in hers, and the two of them struggled to their feet. As they began the long walk home, Kaine gripped the hand with all her might, as if trying to stop smoke from drifting away on the wind. The rain had stopped. Kaine stood beneath the weather vane watching it spin in lazy circles, no longer caring about the direction it faced when it stopped. Don't need to escape. I have a home now. Grandma loves me, and that's enough. Even if it's us against the world. Kaine let her gaze drift up past the vane and into the cloudy sky. Last faint hints of a rainbow were slowly fading. As she turned and headed for home, the light scattered into a million particles and vanished, seemingly taken away on the breeze. Kaine's Dreams, Daily Life. My donation thing is not broken, Water Ninja. Thank you very much for the $5. I just have it paused because we're in the middle of this. Appreciate it. Anyway, more of Kaine's Dreams. When you're locked up in a tablet of stone for 5 years, you have some time to dream. So, in the distance, Kaine heard the steady sounds of an axe striking wood. The noise had a purposeful quality to it, as if she was hearing a master woodsman go about his work. The firewood being produced, however, was as far from a work of art as could be. Pieces of every shape and size were being flung about a barren yard with wild abandon. Anyone trying to stack such wood would probably die of frustration before the job was through. Stupid piece of shit axe! Kaine's grandmother flailed away with the axe, filling the air with both splinters of wood and words that would make the most hardened sailor blush. Grandma, called Kaine. Why? Yelled the old woman, taking her eyes off the wood for a moment. Oh, it's you, Kaine. Don't get too close or I might take your goddamn foot off by mistake. She brought the axe down on a piece of wood, sending chips flying in every direction. One spun past Kaine close enough for her to hear the whistle, at which point she decided to step back. Once she'd scuttled to a safe distance, she cupped her hands around her mouth and shouted, Grandma! Do you need help? I can get you water or lunch or a new axe or something. The axe, poised to strike another wobbly blow, paused in midair. The old woman considered her granddaughter's offer for a moment and then smiled. Tell you what, since I'm doing such a piss-poor job of chopping, why don't you come here and take over so I can go get the water? Shades have been restless lately, you know, and I don't want you running into one of them bastards. Relinquishing the axe, her grandmother picked up a long pole with wooden buckets on either end. Gathering water was by far the more difficult of the two jobs, but Kaine knew better than to complain. Once Grandma's mind was set, there was no changing it. Kaine did her best to help with chores, but Grandma took every task that required travel to the village. Though she had a long list of plausible excuses, Kaine knew the real reason. She didn't want her granddaughter to be taunted and harassed by the villagers. Once Kaine moved in, Grandma decided to take up residence a good distance from the Eyrie. Out of sight, out of mind seemed to be the best policy when it came to the villagers and her granddaughter. And rare were the days when any but the two of them could be found on the rocky acre of land they called home. Kaine enjoyed the solitude, but harbored a secret resentment that her grandmother was forced to spend her golden years in such a place. After watching her grandmother leave, Kaine turned her attention to the task at hand. She had never chopped wood before in her life. Soon discovered why the old woman hated the chore. Swing after swing of the axe produced only a tiny crack in the wood, When she finally managed to connect with a solid stroke, the tool embedded itself in the log and refused to budge. I've chopped wood before, chat. Chopping wood's a fucking pain in the ass. It does exactly what is described in the text there. Frustrated, Kaine swung the axe around her head and threw it, log and all, across the yard. Damn it! Damn it! Crap! She suddenly understood the joy her grandmother felt and a good curse. Happier now, she picked up the axe, forced it from the wood, and resumed chopping. She had a natural skill with a blade, but the task was challenging, and blisters soon began to form on her small pink hands. This is tough, and my logs are all weird sizes. Spitting on her palms and ignoring the pain, Kaine redoubled her efforts. Just as she was developing a rhythm, Grandma returned from the village. Setting down her buckets with a small sigh, she took one look at the logs and coughed out a wheezy laugh. Pretty clumsy, girl. You better practice if you... Her grandmother suddenly collapsed to her knees, causing one of the buckets to wobble precariously. Eyes wide, Kaine dropped the axe and ran to her grandmother's side. Grandma! The old woman shook her head and pointed a trembling finger at the bucket. Get the bucket. You can't let it spill. Kaine steadied the bucket with a foot as she knelt by her grandmother. A small bit of water sloshed over the side and made a new home in the hem of her dress, but Kaine didn't even notice. Grandma, what's happening? Crazed with panic, she grabbed her grandmother by the shoulders and shook. After a moment, the woman lifted her arms and batted Kaine away. Stop that! Just stop now, she cried, breathing heavily. It ain't like I'm dying. I'm just tired from the trip is all. Kaine desperately wanted to believe her. But one look at the old woman's shaking hands and worn face told her more than words ever could. Her grandmother had lived a long, hard life, and it seemed the bill was coming due. The time when her grandmother watched over Kaine was ending. Sooner than either of them had feared, the positions would be reversed. The next morning, Kaine came to the side of her grandmother's bed and took her wrinkled hand. Grandma, you're sick and you need medicine. I'm going to the village. The old woman shook her head and tried to rise, but Kaine gently pushed her down. It's all right, she said. I'll be fine. Her grandmother fixed her with a gaze that could melt steel. After what seemed like an eternity, she finally lowered her eyes and sighed. Well, I don't like it, goddammit. But I guess I should quit being so stubborn and let you grow up. The old woman watched as Kaine strapped on her boots and made her way down the road to the village. Hours later, as an unseen sun made its way across a dark and rainy sky, she was still watching. Kaine moved at a brisk pace, checking her pockets every few minutes to make sure the money her grandmother gave her was still there. Every noise caused her to spin on her heels, making sure she wasn't being stalked by a shade. Or worse, Demo and his gang. By the way, chat, I want to point out, I appreciate that this shows that shades were a problem, even like 10, 15, however many years before the events of the game that we play through. And that it was a slow but steady rise until it kind of just exponentially burst forth as a huge issue. Also, I appreciate that Demo and his gang are vilified as much worse than actual monsters. But she encountered neither tormentors nor shades, and Kaine finally found herself at the entrance to the village. The few adults she could see glanced sideways at her, then muttered to each other behind raised hands before slinking away into the shadows. Her heart racing, Kaine took a series of rapid, shallow breaths and tried to calm herself. I have to prove myself. I have to help Grandma. I have to be strong. She chanted those words to herself over and over as she slowly made her way. Finally, her eyes settled on a rotund older woman who was angrily waving her arms in the air and telling anyone who would listen exactly what she thought of Kaine's presence. Hey lady, Kaine said with a bravado she did not feel. Where's the apothecary? The woman's flabby cheeks shook in bewildered anger. How dare this thing speak to me? They seemed to say. But Kaine saw that her eyes held a different emotion. Fear. Yeah, we're both scared, lady. Trust me on this one. Which way? Kaine repeated. The woman pointed at a small building to her right before hitching up her dress and stumbling off in the other direction. Kaine cringed, expecting a stone to come flying from the assembled crowd, but none came. Her mind was filled with a strange sense of pride as she made her way to the apothecary. But the new emotion had little time to take root, for as soon as she opened the door, she noticed a familiar customer at the counter. It was Demo. He clearly had been sent here on some kind of family errand, because his gang of followers was nowhere to be found. Oh my god, he sputtered. What are you doing here, freak? The insult was delivered without force. Kaine happily ignored it. Stretching on tiptoes to see over the counter, she asked the shopkeeper for the medication. Ha! Barked Demo. That old bitch finally keel over? Go to hell, Demo! The boy's eyes grew so wide they seemed ready to fall out of his head. But before he could let fly a comeback, or worse, a punch, the apothecary told them to knock it off before he kicked them out of the store. Demo slunk out of the shop, cursing Kaine under his breath. Once he was gone, she allowed herself to breathe once more, taking a brief tour of the shop while the owner prepared her medication. Countless tiny bottles filled the cramped store, each with a label written in some indecipherable language. An ocean of aromas assaulted her nose, creating a scent that was exotic but not altogether unpleasant. Seeing such a variety of supplies gave Kaine a sense of peace. Surely in a world so vast, there would be a place that she could call home. On the far wall behind the counter rested a portrait of a stunning young girl. The picture had once contained bright, vibrant colors. Time had worked its magic and they were beginning to fade. The beauty of the work, however, remained undiminished. You like that picture? Kaine turned to find the apothecary with a small vial of medicine in his hand. His eyes were gentle but sad. They seemed to stare through her and into nothing as he spoke. That's my daughter. I sketched it when she was just a little girl. She's been dead for a long time now. Kaine didn't know how to respond. He just stared at the portrait and tried to come up with the right words. Pictures are wonderful things, continued the shopkeeper. They let the ones closest to you live on forever. He shook his head slightly and looked down at Kaine and smiled. Handing her the medicine, he reached into his sizable green apron and produced a handful of old wax crayons. You should have these. There is no one left that I wish to draw. Kaine took an instinctive step back, causing the shopkeeper's face to darken. Yes, I've heard the rumors about you, he said. It's a small village and word travels quickly. Between you and me, I'm not sure which of them to believe, but I also don't think they matter much. I knew your grandmother, Kali, and I think the way she was driven out of this town is just deplorable. Grandmother's name is Kali? Thought Kaine suddenly. He was still mulling this new fact over in her mind as she reached out and gently took the crayons from the apothecary's hands. Your grandmother's an old friend of mine, he said as Kaine scooted away yet again, and I owe her much. I'm willing to wager that she would like it if you drew a picture of her. Yes, I think she'd like that very much. Kaine murmured a quiet agreement, but inside her heart was bursting. Never before had a villager treated her with anything but complete contempt. It was a tiny, almost imperceptible step, but it was a step nonetheless. And with enough tiny steps, she might one day discover the rest of the world. When Kaine returned home, she found her grandmother asleep in her bed. Her feet were blackened and raw, even bleeding a bit in places, leading Kaine to think that she had been pacing around the room until exhaustion finally caught up with her. He placed the medicine by her grandmother's pillow and turned to leave, but found the old woman's hand clasped around her arm. Back already, are ya? her grandmother asked with a yawn. Come here, let me have a look at you. Grandma sat up and examined Kaine from head to toe. Finally satisfied that nothing terrible had befallen her grandchild, she leaned back and allowed herself to relax. Well, how was it? Did those bastards give you any trouble? It was kind of fun, said Kaine with a small smile. No, seriously, it was. It was fun, was it? Asked her grandmother in a voice which implied she believed anything but. Uh-huh. So anytime you need me to run an errand, just let me know. As she spoke, Kaine removed the crayons from her pocket. After a brief explanation of their source, she informed her grandmother that she was going to sketch her portrait. A portrait of me? Ridiculous! No one wants to stare at a wrinkled old crone. But Grandma, it'll make you live forever. Horse manure, said her grandmother, throwing back the sheet from the bed. Living forever would just piss me off. Now put those crayons away and help with dinner. But Kaine would not relent. In the end, Grandma found herself leaning against the wall of the house, as if posing for a master artist. Kaine took up the crayons and eyed her subject carefully. Just as her grandmother was about to nod off, Kaine finished the work. After staring at it for a bit, she released it from her grip and let it slowly drift to the floor. It's terrible! It doesn't look like you at all. Sorry, Grandma. I thought these crayons would, make drawing easy or something. The old woman's eyes narrowed at her granddaughter's disappointment. Let me be the judge of that, she said, ignoring the pain in her back and reaching for the paper. The sketch could have been a person's face. It also could have been a boulder, a lump of clay, or an incredibly misshapen loaf of bread, all rendered in a chaotic array of colors. The old woman stared at the picture for a long time, then slowly wheezed out a laugh. Oh, Kaine, she said between laughter. You truly are my blood. You're as clumsy as me, and I love it. But... Hush, I won't hear any more bull about how ugly you think it is. It came from the heart, and I'll treasure it always. True to her word, the old woman gave the picture a place of honor above the kitchen table. Yeah, just go put it on the fridge, chat. This is pretty long? Yeah, but it's well written, it's fine. In the days that followed, Kaine would often catch her staring at the portrait with a strange smile on her face. In action, she interpreted as silent, mocking laughter. A week later, Kaine could stand it no more and asked her grandmother to take the artwork down. Gosh, said the old woman. I'll take this down when they roll me in my shroud. She pondered this for a bit, and then turned to Kaine and dropped to one knee. Listen to me, girl. Seeing this picture makes me happy in a way I've never felt before. And it makes me want to go on so that someday you can feel the same happiness. It was a moment that burned itself in Kaine's memory. A perfect blend of pride and love and joy that came together to form a lifelong remembrance. She swore to never forget this moment, to never forget the old woman who had made her place in the world possible. Time moves on. People and memories come in and out of her life like ghosts passing through a hall. But this moment will be different, Kaine swore, because I will remember it forever. Forever. Kaine's dreams. Separation. I wonder why it's called separation. Kaine listened to the sound of crackling firewood and stared at the black object on her plate. She'd been pushing it around the wooden disc for a good 10 minutes, ignoring the bemused stare of her grandmother. Finally, she summoned her courage and gave the object a brief sniff. A sharp, bitter scent flew up her nostrils and made its home there, causing her face to twist with disgust. Grandma, I can't believe you want me to eat a bug. The old woman threw some more wood under the cooking pot and snorted. It's no bug, you fool girl, it's a berry. Why in the hell would I be feeding you bugs? Yeah, well, it sure looks like a bug, said Kaine. And I think it's burnt or something, because it smells terrible. With that, Kaine held her nose and threw the berry in her mouth, chewing as little as possible. Oh yeah, that's terrible, all right. Why, you little brat, laughed the old woman. Look at the sass on you. You've been spending too much time with me, and that's a fact. 5 years had passed since the moment when Kaine's grandmother saved her from the bullies. As is often the way with two stubborn people, their relationship had grown in fits and starts, but moved forward all the same. Meals that used to be somber affairs were now filled with laughter and hurled abuse in equal measure. Jesus, is this a light novel? Yes, Lazy Melon. I told you to get comfy. There's a lot of reading at this part. It's good reading, though. It's really good. Kaine could not remember a time when she had been happier. As the years went by, Kaine started to shoulder more and more of the daily responsibilities. Her grandmother's legs grew weaker by the day, and she could no longer do many of the chores she used to take for granted. And so this morning found Kaine lacing up her bootworks, her bootworks, yes, her work boots with a breakfast of burned berry rolling through her belly. Where are you going today? Asked Grandma suddenly. Kaine looked up surprised. The old woman rarely asked for specifics anymore. Well, I was gonna check out the kelma trees and see if they were ripe. I thought we could make some jam or something. Oh, and I'm gonna go pick some flagstones, so I need to take the wheelbarrow. Flagstones? What in the hell for? Kaine stared at her grandmother, then held out an arm and swept it around the room. Constructed mostly of cloth, rope, and rubble, the old place sagged like a boxer in the final round. Grandma, a dying cat could chew through this house. I'm gonna build a stone wall so we have some protection. The old woman laughed, exposing her toothless grin to the world. Goddamn, girl, if a bunch of thieves want to ransack this old place, let 'em come. We got nothing worth stealing anyway. I'm not worried about thieves, I'm worried about shades. People saw one west of the village yesterday. The old woman tilted her head and stared at her granddaughter. Well, shoot. I don't know why you have to do it today. We can worry about it some other. Grandma, no. If I don't go to the kelma trees, we won't eat tonight, and you know that. A confused expression passed across the old woman's face. For a moment, she was a small child lost at a carnival. Yes, she said after a bit. Yes, of course, you're right. I'm sorry, Kaine. Lately it seems my mind is... Yeah, that's rough. That's real rough. He didn't finish the thought, instead walking over to her nightstand and gently taking the wreath of lunar tears from the drawer. The flower's petals had aged to a brilliant whiteness, and Kaine thought it was more beautiful now than the day she first received it. Also, chat, remember when I pointed out the wreath of lunar tears at Kaine's place? That would be why. That'd be why she has a wreath of them. Oh god, we're dropping a couple frames. Is everything still coming in? All the audio coming in fine, I hope? Anyway. As long as it is, we'll keep trucking. Audio's fine, alright. You're gonna be a true woman soon, Grandma said as she placed the flowers in the girl's hair. So that means less chatter about shades and building defensive walls and more talk about how beautiful you've become. Annoyed, Kaine reached up to remove the garland, but the look on her grandmother's face stopped her hand. You're a beautiful thing, said the old woman, and there ain't another like you in all the world. I'm very proud of you. Okay, Grandma, that's enough goddamn compliments for one day. Such a mouth on you, where did that come from? Gee, I wonder. I'll teach you to sass me, girl, yelled Grandma. Suddenly, she lurched forward and grabbed Kaine by the ears, pulling her around the room with a crazed grin on her face. Grandma, yelled Kaine in a quaking voice. Grandma, stop! What the hell? The old woman stared at her and blinked, then slowly held her wrinkled hands out as if this was the first time she had ever seen them. Oh, I don't know what happened there. I'm sorry, girls. Sometimes my mind just... Kaine thought the look on her grandmother's face was the most heartbreaking thing she had ever seen. Listen, she began. Maybe I should stay home after all. No, I won't have you stay here to keep an eye on an old codger like me. You go get your fruit and your wall and whatnot, I'll be fine. And when you come back, I'll have a nice grasshopper dinner waiting for you. Kaine rolled her eyes and kissed her grandmother on the forehead and made ready to depart, trying desperately to ignore the worry that was gnawing at the walls of her heart. Kaine could feel the old woman's eyes watching her as she moved down the path. Don't turn around. Don't turn around, she told herself. But in the end, the temptation was too great. She spun on her heel for one final look and saw a small, bent woman standing in front of a ramshackle hut with a sad expression on her face. Gods, she looks so old now. It's like the wind could reach down and just carry her away. Kaine worried about her grandmother all day, causing her work to suffer. What little fruit she could collect was tossed carelessly into the wheelbarrow, and she only found a couple of stones before losing interest in the project. Finally, as dusk approached, she decided to call it a day. Cursing herself for the lack of focus, Kaine pushed the nearly empty wheelbarrow back down the path. As she crossed the final hill, she suddenly froze in place. The wheelbarrow fell from her fingers and collapsed on its side, sending a few pieces of wrinkled brown fruit rolling back down the hill. Her gaze was transfixed by a thick black cloud that hovered just ahead. Tracing its path with a finger, Kaine suddenly felt her stomach knot in on itself. No. Oh gods, no! Her grandmother's house was ablaze, the flames licking up as if trying to touch the sky itself. Grandma! Grandma! Kaine ran then, faster than she had ever moved in her life. Once she tripped on a stone and went sprawling into the rocky ground, but she leapt to her feet and continued running. Unmindful of the blood that had spilled from her wounded hands and knees. As she got closer and closer, Kaine's mind began to race in time with her footfalls. It's too dark. It's too dark. It's not just fire. Can't be fire. Too much smoke. Gotta save her. Gotta save her. She burst into the front yard and came to a sudden halt, her worst suspicions confirmed. The smoke from the fire was mingled with the thick, inky blackness of an enormous shade. The massive creature supported itself on 3 twisted feet and achieved balance through means of a large armored tail. Scales, horns, and claws sprouted from its body in a random chaotic pattern, giving it the appearance of a lizard designed by some insane god. Seeing Kaine, it let out a roar and flicked its tail, sending small whirlwinds spinning around the yard. For a moment, the creature retreated into a shimmering inky blackness, as if her mind was unable to comprehend that such a thing could actually exist. But then the smell hit her, a blend of rotted meat and excrement, and the horror became real once more. The creature bellowed again, and this time Kaine responded with a scream of her own. All right, you bastard, she thought as her scream echoed off the high cliffs around them. It's you or me, let's go! The shade eyed Kaine with bemused interest. Then it began looking from her to the house and back again, as if urging her to look at the destruction it had so gleefully wrought. With dread building in her heart, Kaine glanced toward the house. Through the smoke and flames, she spotted a small figure struggling to escape the ruins. Grandma! At the sound of her voice, the old woman began waving frantically. She's alive, thought Kaine. She's alive! Kaine's legs sprang to life as she raced across the yard toward the flaming wreckage of the house. Before she could advance more than a few steps, the shade opened its mouth and let out a roar powerful enough to uproot trees and send them flying. The blast sent Kaine tumbling through the air before smashing her against the rocky earth. Stars danced in front of her eyes as she tried to remember how her legs work. Get up! Get up! Get up, get up, get up, get up now! As Kaine struggled to her feet, the shade stomped toward the house and pinned her grandmother to the ground with the tip of its claw. The old woman struggled to move the claw from her stomach, but she might as well have been pushing a mountain. She coughed briefly, sending a small spray of blood into the air, then collapsed to the ground, her energy spent. Kaine lurched to her feet, only to fall back to earth with a gasp. Her ankles were on fire. One or both of them were surely broken. Ignoring the pain that screamed through her body, she began dragging herself across the ground, leaving a drunken trail of dust and blood in her wake. Grandma, hold on. Just a little longer. Her grandmother's face was turning blue, her eyes rolling back until only the whites were exposed. Kaine pulled herself across the ground with maddening slowness, the distance seeming to increase with every second that passed. The shade glanced between the two women and flicked out its tongue, its giant mouth turning up at the corners. Short, panting breaths belched from somewhere deep inside its core. Bastard! Laughing at us! She had no idea how such a mindless creature could experience emotion, but there could be no doubt that the shade was taking joy in their suffering. Yeah, I see your plan. The shade moved its claw slightly, allowing Grandma to breathe again. It was clearly keeping her alive, only to snuff out her life when Kaine was close enough to touch her. I'm gonna kill this bastard! Summoning all her strength, Kaine rose to her feet. There was a sickening snap from her right ankle as the foot twisted backwards. But she forced it from her mind and began to hobble towards the monster. Pulling a small knife from the pouch at her waist, she leapt on the foot that pinned her grandmother and plunged the weapon deep. Give her back! She screamed. Give her back to me! It was like stabbing a rock. After a few swipes, the knife broke at the hilt with a dull snap. The shade panted laughter again, then raised its tail and sent it rushing through the air toward the young girl that was latched to its foot. Kaine never had a chance. The tail struck her square in the chest and sent her crashing into the burning wreckage of the home. As she lay on the ground with blood pouring from multiple wounds, a small, weak voice spoke up. Kaine! Kaine's vision blurred, but she forced herself to focus on the sound. Finally, her eyes cleared enough for her to make out her grandmother's hands reaching out to her through the smoke. Grandma! Kaine! You've gotta run! You can't beat him. Kaine grabbed the hands and held on with all her strength. Grandma, come on. We have to go. The old woman coughed loudly. One of her hands, slick with blood, slipped from Kaine's grasp and thumped to the ground below. Grandma, no! No! I said run, goddammit! You have to. I have to live. You have to get through. The thought would stay forever unfinished. Before she could say another word, the shade's clawed foot descended, smashing through the remains of the roof and down upon the shattered figure of the old woman. Blood oozed thickly from gaps in the creature's toes as the terrible putrid smell assaulted Kaine's nose once again. She stared at the foot dumbfounded, convinced that what she was seeing could not possibly be real. When the creature finally lifted its appendage, all that remained underneath was a twisted, unrecognizable mess of rubble and red. Her grandmother was gone. Kaine blinked, trying to feel the hands which had been in hers just a moment before. For a fleeting instant, she could remember the warmth of that embrace, the trembling of the fingers, but then the sensation drifted away on the breeze and was gone. Memories flashed through Kaine's mind one after the other, faster and faster, until they became a meaningless jangle of noise. Kaine screamed then, a thunderous sound that echoed off the cliffs and seemed to roll away forever. The shade eased forward, black ichor pouring from its mouth and dissolving into smoke on the ground below. The earth shook with every step as it crept towards its prey. Kaine's body slowly rose as if controlled by a mad puppet master. Her arms and legs were bent at impossible angles, her head lolled dangerously to the side. Yet somehow she managed to stand. Staring at the shade, her eyes began to glow with a deep red fire. The creature, so confident just moments before, took a slow, hesitant step backward, trying to discern if this broken human could possibly pose a threat. Oh, could possible pose a threat. Typo. Kaine seized the moment. Laughing like a madwoman, she leapt into the air and plunged the shattered hilt of her knife deep into the leg of the shade. The shade shook Kaine off like a fly, sending her crashing to the earth once again. Her chest rose and fell slowly as if a great weight were resting on it. Moist sounds of pain echoed through her mind. Something warm and thick oozed from her ears. Is that blood? I think it is. I think I'm bleeding to death. No, can't die. Grandma told me to live. Deep inside Kaine's mind, something finally broke. The sound, the pain, the smoke and flames, all of it faded away until all that remained was a single incantation repeated over and over again. Kill it. 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 Kill it now! As the spark that was Kaine slowly began to flicker and die, she felt her desire to kill and her desire to live blend into one. The distance between heartbeats grew longer, and longer, and longer. So chat, did you enjoy Kaine's happy backstory? Are you in the mood to fight this boss now?
The beast approaches.
Oh, I got it.
Well, how does it end? Does Lolly Kaine live? I wonder about that. I truly do. Alright. You are in the way of lore, Mr. Shade. Gonna need you to go ahead and die real quick for me. Alright.
How did it even survive these past 9 years?
Gonna need you to just die, buddy. I am.
It's not the blade, the skill of the user. Strike him down.
Gonna need you to just die, buddy. Look at my happy face, Minglo. Hey chat, are you ready to feel like a big strong hero again when saving Kaine? Big strong hero. Yeah. Before we go back to Minglo. So, in case you were wondering why Kaine was so adamant in saying that bastard is my prey about the giant lizard shade in the first half of the game, now we have the backstory on that. There's a reason why Kaine was really hoping to kill it. Also, you wanted closure? Let's get some closure on that story. Kaine's dreams counter. Gently. Weakly. Softly. The shade, sure that its tormentor was dead, turned and stomped off toward the horizon, stopping along the way to bellow one final roar. Couldn't kill it. So sorry, Grandma. Couldn't avenge you. Shamed beyond imagining, Kaine tried to turn her head to the side, but only succeeded in coughing up a huge gout of blood. It was getting difficult to see, and only after a moment of fierce concentration did she realize that her left eye was gone. Laughing to herself, she turned her remaining eye to the ruins of her home and noticed a ragged stump of an arm resting a few feet away. Yeah, that's mine, she thought with a mad giggle. This is gonna make clapping a real bitch. Ha! Cried a sudden voice from the depths of her mind. Also, yeah, chat, you ever wonder why one of Kaine's arms is completely and utterly bandaged up? Finally gonna die, are ya? Well, you had it coming. Go to hell, Demo, she thought at the unseen assailant. Go to hell before I pluck out your eyes and feed them to a dog. The voice of her childhood terror evaporated into smoke, only to be replaced by another, more recent voice. Hold still, said the apothecary, materializing from the ruins like a ghost. I want to draw you. That way you can live forever. No, stop. Don't want to live forever. Want to just die right here. I see, he said quietly. Well, if that's how you want it. The spectral shopkeeper fluttered in and out of existence for a moment, then produced a piece of paper and sketched quickly. After a few seconds, he turned the page to Kaine and smiled. Since you rejected my offer, I decided to draw someone else. It was a picture of her grandmother, real as life. Kaine opened her mouth to thank the man, but stopped as the picture began to blacken in the middle. Before she could say anything, thousands of multi-legged insects began to swarm across the image, tearing at it with sharpened pincers. Stop! No! Don't hurt that picture! Kaine reached out with her remaining arm and waved futilely in the air. To her surprise, the insects fell off the picture into the ground below, where they vanished into tiny black tendrils of smoke. Relieved, Kaine turned her good eye back to the picture, only to open her mouth in a silent scream. The sketch now showed her grandmother as she truly was. A smashed, unrecognizable lump of nothing. Oh, that hurts. The apothecary smiled, and then broke into a jolly dance. See that? He cried as he danced his jig. It's perfect now! She looks just like you! Ha-cha-cha-cha! I look like that? Oh God. Oh God, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. Drowning in despair, Kaine laid her head back in the mud and smoke of her ruined house and waited for the end to come. But just before she let everything go, an unfamiliar voice began whispering in her ear. Ain't you got a wish, sunshine? The voice was vulgar and fierce at the same time, as if insanity had somehow found a way to take form. Kaine wanted to scream as the voice crawled under her skin, but her lungs refused to work. You know, a wish, like a prayer or something. Why don't you get on your knees and start praying to heaven? Please, invisible man in the sky, save me! Save me! Kaine finally resorted to shouting at the voice with her mind. I don't make wishes. They don't come true for me. I'm a curse. A freak. I should be left to die. The other voice boomed in her ears. Oh God, you are the best. Kaine glanced down and saw a black, shiny substance oozing from her legs. She tried to brush it away, but her remaining arm would no longer respond. The substance slowly crept around her feet and began moving up toward the rest of her body. Is this death? Is this what it's like? Or is my mind just losing itself? She could feel the slime oozing upward, feel the hot, searing pain it left in its wake. Whatever else might be happening, she was still alive and this was real. Come on, said the voice. Let it go! Kaine tried to ignore the voice and concentrate on the pain, but the newcomer would have none of it. Don't ignore me, sunshine. You ready to give up? You're ready to die, so why not just let me have it? Have what? Your body! Come on, give it to me. Give it to me. I want to stand on the ground, feel the rain, taste the wind. The voice paused, as if licking its lips. When it resumed, it was filled with mad, unabated joy. And I want to take your hands and use them to choke the goddamn life out of people. I want to tear out their throats and bathe in the blood just like before. In response, Kaine shifted her head and vomited. The warmth of it crept down her front and mingled with the pain of the encroaching black ooze. Are you a shade? Yeah, maybe. What of it? The slime reached her face, crept up past her nose, and slowly oozed into the socket of her missing eye. The moment it touched her brain, Kaine was struck by the most powerful sensation she'd ever felt in her life. It was ecstasy. She wanted to scream with delight, but all she could manage was a small whispered moan. Feels good, don't it? Asked the voice with a chuckle. Yeah, what can I say? I know how to please the ladies. Now give me that body. Come on, give me the body and I'll give you more of this feeling. It's a fair trade. A black lump began to protrude from Kaine's side. As she watched, it grew longer and thicker, eventually taking the form of her missing arm. I can see better, she thought. My eye must be growing back too. The slime reached up to envelop the rest of her face, but she managed to brush it away. Stop, she whispered, marveling at how she had regained her voice. Stop! The black ooze hesitated, as if considering this request, then quickly shimmered down her body before disappearing in a cloud of smoke. Ah, what the hell, sunshine? Screamed the voice. We had a deal. I thought you wanted to die. Grandma said I can't die yet. A brief image of her grandmother, bloodied and broken, flashed before her eyes. She saw the shade that had killed her and heard its mocking laughter, then closed her eyes and forced the image from her mind. Her whole body was quaking with rage. When she opened her eyes again, they burned bright red. That thing took my grandmother. I have to kill it before I die. Kaine glanced down and saw a mysterious pattern of shades burn itself into her left arm. Well, I'll be damned, said the voice cheerfully. Look at that, sunshine. I think you and me are gonna be good friends now. Kaine stared intently at her arm. The more emotional she felt, the more the letters seemed ready to puncture her skin and begin infecting the rest of her body. The arm clearly had a will of its own now. Stop. You gotta stop. Holding her left arm in her right, Kaine took a deep breath and tried to calm herself. Come on, don't fight it, pleaded the voice. Heat's my favorite dish, and I'm hungry. Let it go, feel the anger, burn with the fire of revenge, thirst for blood, then go out there and... Shut up and get the hell out of my body. Your body? Ah, that's rich, sunshine, real rich. Look, why don't you just up and die so I can have this body all to myself? What do you say? I bet those buddies of yours in the area would love to see you dead. Kaine grabbed a nearby shard of glass and tried to saw off the shade-infected portion of her side. Before she could, her darkened left arm grabbed her right wrist, crushing it. Kaine screamed and dropped the shard as the sound of bone crunching on bone filled the air. Ah, stupid idiot girl. You're possessed now, sunshine. There ain't no going back. The voice laughed again, a loud, long wail that seemed to go on without end. Possessed? Whispered Kaine. Yeah, possessed. You and me, we got what you might call a timeshare arrangement. Remember how folks used to think you were a freak? Well, wait till they get a load of you now. Kaine looked up, tears in her eyes. The sky seemed smaller somehow. Darker. Is this because of that shade? Is this how they see the world? So, listen, heard the voice. I know this whole possession thing seems a bit sudden, but it ain't all bad. There's plenty in it for you, too. I'm a very powerful creature, Sunshine, and now that power belongs to you. You got enemies? People you want to kill? I can make it happen. That little fat kid who kept picking on you? That big old shade that squashed your granny? We'll wrap them up in their own assholes. No more abuse for you, Sunshine. No more pain. Wait, Kaine said. You're a shade. Why would you help me kill another shade? What? You think I'm some kind of racist? Some killing snob? I don't give a good goddamn who you murder, honey pants. I just want to drink from the well. Kaine considered this as she struggled to her feet, the power of the shade coursing through her. The smoke from her house was drifting away with the wind, and she enjoyed the way the cool evening breeze felt on her new left arm. After a long pause, the voice spoke up again. So, how about it? You and me, we could have some good times together. Look, I'll even take care of the bloody part if you don't want. Fuck off, asshole, muttered Kaine. I'll handle the killing. Screamed the voice. Look at you go! Oh, Sunshine, we're gonna have so much fun. So listen, my name's Tyron, and if you ever need me, I'll just be hanging out in this piece of meat you call a heart. Now get to it. The more you kill, the more your heart turns rotten and sour, and I like rotten and sour. Kaine found herself nodding at the voice. Yeah, she said. Yeah, I think this can work. I'm gonna find that shade, and I'm gonna strangle it with its own guts. And when I'm done, I'm gonna do the same to you, Tyron. Count on it. Ha! Laughed Tyron. I've shit bigger than you, so good luck with that. Oh, and hey, one more thing. Right now, you and me are sharing this body, but if you ever run out of hate, if you ever, go soft, then I'm gonna take over everything. So keep on killing, Sunshine, and watch your back. The voice grew fainter, gradually faded away, fading to somewhere deep inside Kaine herself. Hey chat, remember when Kaine got pierced with a spear and then went full shade? Kaine waited until she was sure the voice was gone, then waved her new left arm around a few times. It feels perfectly normal, she thought. It feels like mine. Desperately, she began poking and prodding at the new limb, determined to find something wrong with it. She didn't want it to feel normal. That would mean the creature inside her had already won. I'm not a shade. I'm Kaine. Repeating this mantra in her mind, she slowly began digging through the rubble of her house, being careful to ignore a certain red-stained spot in the corner. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity of heartbreaking work, she found what she was looking for. It was the wreath of lunar tears. Though it had been through hell and back, the garland's petals were as bright as ever. Kaine started to place it in her hair, then slowly lowered the wreath and stared at it. Sorry, Grandma. So sorry. But I don't deserve to wear this anymore. I'm possessed, corrupted, a freak. And this time, I don't think there's any going back. Holding the flowers to her heart, Kaine fell to the ground and sobbed. As night gradually lightened to dark, the people of the area rose to their daily lives. She remained in that position, as if tears could somehow wash away the horror that now infected her world.
alive. Stay alive.
Chad, did you enjoy Kaine's backstory?
Kaine, you gotta live. You gotta come back to us.
What a happy story, right? So, during Kaine's 5 years of imprisonment in that rock while she was there, she was just either dreaming those dreams over and over again, or just unconscious between that.
You were the one calling me, huh?
You still recognize me?
Yeah, sure. I knew you right away.
This is also why Kaine's left arm is completely bandaged, her right upper arm, or forearm, is bandaged, and her left leg is bandaged, because those are all covered in shade scrawl. Completely covered in shade scrawl, because of the shade that is
How long has it
sharing a
been?
body with her.
5 years.
Oh. That's a long time. Any luck with Yona?
We are still no closer to finding her. We need a way to locate the Shadow Lord.
This is for you.
Lunar tears. Did you make this?
It's just a little welcome back gift. It's not much, I know.
It's nothing like the one Grandma used to make, but... oh, hell. Thanks.
So, the reason Kaine mentions her grandma is because she just had that set of dreams right before waking up. It's a wonder she didn't wake up and burst into tears.
Excuse me.
Popola, we did it. We freed Kaine.
That's great. Listen, can I talk to you for a minute?
So, hey chat, now that we know even
This doesn't
more
make
about
sense.
Kaine and Emil's sad backstories,
Please, try to understand. People are tired and scared and...
how much more do you
I'm
want
sorry.
to tell all the
sorry you have to
villagers
bear
to
the
just
brunt
go
of that.
fuck themselves at the notion that Kaine and Emil shouldn't be allowed in the village?
It's crap.
It's okay. We can sleep outside.
No one's sleeping outside. You and Kaine saved this village, and now they want to run you out?
People are afraid of us. And really, I understand. I mean, look at me. As long as you're still with us, I can deal with it. Right, Kaine?
I'm used to sleeping outside.
Hey, you literally saved our village
I'm
from
sorry.
being completely wiped
We'll
out.
see you later.
On top of that, you
sorry.
sacrificed yourself for 5 years to protect us from the thing in the basement. And then when it came out, y'all killed it. Great. Now get the fuck out of our village. You look weird and you're scary. We can't have the kids looking at the skeletons
matter?
and the boobs.
Kaine always sleeps outside. I never thought about that until just now.
Yeah.
How could I have not noticed that? How selfish am I? What the hell is wrong with me?
We should turn in.
Yeah, Papa Nier. Maybe you should have asked her about that. I didn't get much sleep that night. I wanted to blame Devla for everything. I wanted to grab Popola and strangle her. Chat, do you want to grab Popola and strangle her after reading that text about Kaine's backstory? Devla and Popola to blame, and I am equally at fault. For not stopping for a moment to think about Kaine and Emil. Only if she's into it. So, when the game said you were going to get Kaine's backstory, it did not lie. And that hour and a half of me reading and slightly voice acting text to you, shittily voice acting text to you, isn't all of Kaine's backstory. There's more. But hey chat, I want to point something out. Remember in the first part of that backstory, how the children and the villagers of the area were already calling her a freak. The entire area was calling her a freak and saying that she should just die and stuff like that when she was like fucking 5 or something. Reminder that she didn't have any black scrawl or shade text or anything on her body whatsoever. None of that. So it wasn't that she was part shade or some weird shit like that. It was something else. And it's been said in chat before, but I will tell you exactly what it is. Kaine, chat, is a hermaphrodite. It has nothing to do with her parents or anything. Kaine was born with both sets of genitals. Because of that, she was outcasted from others, picked on by others. The kid said, "Why are you pretending to be a girl?" Remember that line from the children? Why are you pretending to be a girl? When we see Kaine, she is very clearly looks like a woman and everything like that. However, as a child, the other children, if they saw her thing, would say, "Why are you trying to be a girl, huh?" So, I actually want to take a second and say what Yoko Taro has to say about that particular plot point, about Kaine being a hermaphrodite. So here's the thing. The game really makes little to no importance of this at all. It barely mentions it. It basically just points to it and says, yeah, that's a thing. And then never mentions it again. The main characters never mention it to Kaine. Kaine doesn't have some big discussion about it or big opening about it or anything like that. It is just a character trait that Kaine has, and something about her backstory which caused strife in her life, and was a hurdle for her to overcome as she grew. I think that's a fantastic way to handle it. It's not important what is different about her and made others abuse her. It's just important that she was a victim of abuse, and it helped to shape the way that she grew. In an interview about this, Yoko Taro actually said, and this is a quote I've got, "To me, Kaine being a hermaphrodite wasn't really a point of importance. Since people like that do exist in reality, we just don't know about them. I was actually surprised it garnered so much attention after the game was released." And to go further, I said this quote before because this was something that he had said about both Kaine and Emil. "I'm not trying to say don't discriminate or anything like that. Just people like that exist. It's simply the way the world works." So, I really like exactly the way that he phrases that, is that it's not a big point of importance. It is most certainly a plot point, and most certainly something that is important to the storyline at a base. However, it is not important to Kaine's character, not important to Kaine as a person, and is something that is a background element to help further push forward the rest of the story. And I really like that. And not only that, he says, "I'm not trying to say don't discriminate or anything like that." He's not taking a hardline stance one way or the other. If you're going to discriminate, he's not going to be able to stop you. However, he is going to include characters like that in his writing because they exist in real life. And there's no reason for them not to exist in media. There's no reason to not tell their stories. And I think that's a fantastic way to handle it. I think that Yoko Taro takes probably the best way to handle it, the heart, which is specifically to say Yes, that's a thing about them, but it's not what defines them. It's a really, as you say, you really appreciate it. It's a really appreciable stance to be able to take. To just say, yep, that's how it is. And that's what happens. It is what it is, you know? So about all those side quests I didn't do, all of those side quests are 100% available. I will be able to go talk to everyone that had side quests before, accept them, and do them if I want to, you know. Here's the thing. You say, moral of the story, kids are dicks. The story straight out points out that every single one of their parents did not a thing to stop it and even encouraged it from the sidelines. Didn't directly put their hands on her or throw rocks at her or do anything to harm her, but pushed the kids in the direction to say it is fine to hurt this person because they are different and because they are weird. So the Airy is absolutely filled with awful, awful people, except maybe the old apothecary, who seemed like he was fine. Pet the pupper? I can't. There is no pet button. So yes, that is why Kaine was being discriminated against when she was a child. And when I say a child, when you, like, that time skip, she was like a freaking 5-6-year-old kid having rocks thrown at her, insults hurled at her, told that she should just die. Her parents had passed for one reason or another, etc. Kaine had a very hard childhood. That's why when we first meet her, she has such difficulty warming up to Papa Nier and accepting him as an ally in any way, shape, or form. Because everyone she's met other than her grandma and I guess the apothecary have been abject, complete and total monsters to her. You can't even say they're being dicks. They were monsters to her.
Hey.
Hi. I kind of thought you'd never talk to us again.
This is bigger than you or Popola. It's about the whole damn village.
I know, but regardless, you should go talk to Popola. I think she wanted to discuss the shit. So chat, this is all repeat dialogue. I'm gonna skip through some of the repeat dialogue to hurry things along a little bit, unless you guys just want me to read it. That's fine.
I fear the next card fate holds.
Fuck you, villager. You're a dick. IRL, the parents choose the sex of the hermaphrodite child and remove the alternate sex organ surgically. Sometimes, not always, but yes. That is definitely happens. Usually it's whichever one is, as Inhuman Psychopath says, the more functional one, aka the one that is, I guess you could say, the dominant sex of the person. Because usually, I say usually, this isn't true for everyone, but someone that is born with both sex organs will usually have one that is more dominant and that they grow into more than the other. After all, Kaine has a fantastic butt, some nice legs, and some boobs. You don't tend to see those on men very often. Look, it's our trophy room, but it's a little more empty than before. Just want to point that out. Popola, hello, yeah. You want to apologize? You should apologize. Anyway, man, sure is nice that you mysteriously gained that information about the Lost Shrine being connected to the Shadow Lord's lair. Man, sure is very convenient that Popola suddenly has all this information for us that we just kind of brush off as, man, as Popola's good at doing investigative work. So, chat, I want to point out a random fun fact. Since we now know, after playing through Ending A, the Gestalts / the Shades are human. Now, the thing is that they bleed because they bleed when you attack them, right? And the reason that they bleed is not simply because they are human, but because when they are attacked, since the Shades are the souls of human, when they're attacked, their souls temporarily return to their human state long enough for them to take the blow, which is why blood can fly out and why they are able to die in the first place. In case you were wondering about that. Hey Fubuki TV, what's up? This max ascended Ilya, and that is one loot card. Yes, it is Nub Smug, but have you 10-10-10'd in level 100 your Ilya yet?
Sup?
You haven't. You aren't working hard enough. I feel like the Aerie getting him mealed is still really wrong, though. It certainly is interesting to see how many people's opinions change and how many stay the same after hearing that backstory for Kaine about the Aerie. Some people still think of it as a tragedy because there's a big loss of human life. Some people think, well, fuck these people. Look what they did to Kaine. They're a bunch of absolute assholes. And other people just have mixed opinions where they're like, man, I don't know which way to lean on this one. Hey, chat. Are you ready for backstory about the Shades? So, these bosses were named Hansel and Gretel. Hansel. Who are you? Go away, dirty defective swine. I'm not like you. I'm different. Hey, look, the theory of the multi-origin. Interesting. Physical attack solutions. Thermonuclear attacks useless. Unknown particles have been detected. Remember when I told you the story about all the stuff that Keim brought to the world at the end of Drakengard ending E? That's why all those reports seem so weird. Also, while this is Kaine's story, and we're gonna get a lot of Kaine information, we do not play as Kaine. You always play as Nier in the game. To be honest, I kinda like that. But I think that if given the time, they probably would have developed an alternate play route and allowed you to play as Kaine if the game had more time. which might have been welcome. Would be interesting to see how Kaine plays differently. Oh, also, one of the big things about this, I guess you could call it a replay, is that I have all of the levels, upgrades, weapons, etc. that I had already unlocked throughout our first playthrough, so it makes it so that going through the replay is much quicker. You again? Stop bothering me. Grimoire Vice has been taken away. Hansel is dead. There's no reason for me to exist anymore. My life is over. Just leave me alone. You. They went and created 2 booty. I mean, it's not like the first Nier didn't have an abjectly large amount of ass to show you. After all, Kaine is strutting around in lingerie for the entire duration of the game, which, chat, you still don't know why. But don't worry, there is a reason why. And of course, the reason is because she breathes through her skin. Always gotta make that joke. Going to actually kill these guys and hope that they just drop me their rare drop. They probably won't, though. I want to spawn in here. Oh. I'm back on the stairs, apparently. Kill it like the rest. Interesting. Not even a sword. Hold on, just out of curiosity, let's make sure. Yeah, I had a feeling we might not have our words on. Well, experience rate is great. I want item drop rate, please. There you go. So this is one of the unfortunate things that the restart does. Reset all your words, and you have to make sure you set them again. And of course, the block puzzle resets, because we haven't done it yet. Assume because she's poor and it's the only clothes she has from her other job. Well, maybe. Unfortunately, you don't know. I mean, I know. There's some members of chat that know. Yoko Taro knows, but you don't necessarily know, and that's pretty embarrassing for you.
This is all too easy.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
I'm almost
Slaughtering these children. It's real easy. Sure does take a new context when you say this is all too easy as you slaughter these children. Yes, I can do a Nier Automata lore playthrough as well if people are interested. I want to go up. Stupid tree. It'll have to be the PC version, which means I am getting a new graphics card very soon. And when I say very soon, I mean like really, really soon. And I gotta hope that that's enough to be able to play it decently. Hopefully it will be. I'm probably gonna get a 1080. I don't know if I can really justify like a 1080 Ti or a 2080, and 2070 isn't out for like ever. Like a whole nother month, so probably just gonna be a 1080. Yes, I know there's a mod that can help improve performance. The mod is a little hit and miss. Some people it doesn't work for, some people it does work for. Like I used it, and it barely did anything for my current card. I'm gonna hope that when I got something a bit beefier, it'll help out a lot more. Hey, listen.
Who are these guys?
The Shades.
Certainly not your garden variety shades.
Their bodies aren't fully functional.
Oh, God.
I've heard of this. A cursed area where incomplete shades gather.
Hey, did you know that Tyron was going to get a voice chat? Kind of like an echoey, whispery voice. I like my voice better for it. My voice is more intimidating. If they got Platinum to remake all the Drakengard games and improve all of the combat, I would play them. Play them all. Even if they wanted to still stick to relatively similar combat, Platinum can still take it up a notch and make it good, like they did with Automata. Had a really good taunting asshole voice. Thank you. That's because I'm a taunting asshole. Drakengard final boss is you mean the rhythm game boss? As for Drakengard 3, it desperately needs to be redone because it has insane performance issues on the system it came out on. Like 15 FPS at some sections of it. Oh, well, bye, Mr. Shade. Anything? Yeah, watch us slaughter these innocent children. Can't possibly fight back against us. Yeah, I feel like such a big, strong hero. Chat, you feel stoked that we're killing all these children? More like Drakengard 3 FPS. Yeah, pretty much. See, the block pushing in this game is decent. It just really needs to be shored up a little bit. It just needed a little more time. Like the hit area for grabbing the blocks is a little finicky. Sometimes you can be too close or just looking the wrong way a little too much. That they could have made a bit better. It's just a lot of little things that held back this game mechanically, which makes parts of it a bit annoying to play, like that block push. Like, it took me 3 tries to be able to grab that because you have to be looking directly at it. Pretty sure if I wanted to, I could just walk right through this door, but I mean, we gotta enjoy our time murdering these innocents. I mean, after all, we're Nearmen. We're the big, strong, cool hero, right? Right? Oh yeah, this thing. Forgot about it. Behold, my 300 spears. Alright, you're dead. Good fight. Good fight. I've treated you all poorly. I mocked you, betrayed you, all because you went gestalt before the change was complete. But after all this, I think I can understand you. I think we can speak as equals. This makes me very happy. I hope we can spend the rest of our lives. What was that? So yeah. The reason that those particular bosses were standing guard by Grimoire Vice, those 2 shades, is because they had reached their full self-actualization already. Unlike a lot of incomplete shades that are driven by instinct, driven by their primal feelings and stuff like that, there are shades that reach a self-actualization.
Emil,
that reach sapience, where they have a full-on mind. They're able to think for themselves, feel emotions, etc.
What?
I'm going to talk to the villagers. I want them to let you in.
Oh, it's no big deal. Right, Kaine?
I'm used to it.
Well, you shouldn't be. It's crap, and it needs to change.
It's crap.
I wish everyone felt the same way.
Emil.
It's all right, really. I like camping out with Kaine. It's kind of fun, in a weird way. Sometimes we sit around the fire and tell stories, or roast...
Emil, that's enough. I got a fucking image to maintain.
We seem to be surrounded by a mob of helpless puppies.
Oh wow, Vice! Man, that line, being surrounded by a mob of helpless puppies, considering all the children that we're murdering. Ooh yeah, that's... Hope you... Do you feel bad about chuckling about that one before, chat? Remember, we laughed and laughed as we just kind of waded through the many shades at that joke. You'll notice now we're getting many, many more of the Black Notebook sequences during the loading screens than we used to, even during the latter half of the first playthrough. It's in order to give you a chance to tie the backstory a bit more together. Don't you touch them! I'm gonna voice act for the shades, chat. They don't actually talk, so for the people listening in the background. Damn you!
What's going on? There's dozens of them!
Stop! They can't defend
These
themselves!
are creatures of the darkness. Lure them to the light. Pathetic to the end, I see.
Aim for that stone statue. It's the leader.
I am not their leader. It is I who rely on them. It is they who saved me. Stop hurting my friends! Oh, man. Nearman.
Oh, you're funny. I'm gonna start crying here.
So, in case you're wondering why we can suddenly hear the shades and their thoughts and everything, the reason is because we are seeing this from Kaine's perspective, or at least we're hearing this from Kaine's perspective. Kaine, throughout the entire duration of the game, has been able to hear the thoughts of the shades, because she has a shade living within her body.
You felled the beast.
Why do those shades die when they reach the light? Shades, some shades are very weak. Cannot stand the light. Those are my friends!
Oh, this is one stubborn son of a bitch.
Damn it! Damn it!
Hey there, Sunshine. You ain't feeling bad for this freak, are ya? Ain't no turning back now. You gotta lust for blood. You gotta embrace the slaughter. All we know is the thrill of battle. Ain't that right, Kaine?
Oh no, he broke my gun. So yeah, in case you were wondering, chat, some of Kaine's dialogue during boss fights kinda came out of nowhere. That's because she was having a conversation with Tyrion. Or Tyrion. Luckily, your teammates cannot kill the bosses. You have to deliver the final blow so that you can get the dialogue.
Kaine!
Oh, you're kidding me!
Kaine!
Move! Move! Come on, you stupid arm, move! We are incomplete, but our friends make us whole. We are mocked, abused, and hated, but our friends keep us strong. That is what keeps us going. Do not stand in the way of our lives! Those are my friends! So yeah, Gurren Lagann over here. Giving off his, battle power speech.
Hurry! Strike it down!
And literally can't fight back. Literally can't fight back. Unfortunately for him, he is not a Gurren Lagann character. And you are not allowed to not kill the bosses. So that gives new context to this scene where it looks like he's desperately stretching out to fight us because he's a huge badass. He's desperately stretching out to stop us because he doesn't want us to kill his friends. Man, perspective is a bitch, isn't it?
Kaine, are you all right? We've got to get help.
I fear there is little we can do.
No! Kaine!
Get back.
So chat,
What is that?
that's a butt, Grimoire voice.
It's all over for you, sunshine.
Kaine! Kaine!
So chat, I think this is a fine opportunity to talk about what the Black Scroll is. Now remember, I said the Black Scroll shows up when a shade is trying to fuse with the body. And as you can see, that is a very true statement, as Tyron has completely taken over Kaine's body there.
Look at Kaine's shade!
We've no other choice. We must strike it down.
Kaine! Please come back!
But I want to point out the design of the Black Scroll itself. The Black Scroll is actually, while it may look like just random symbols and stuff, it actually has a meaning behind it and is a detailed text. The Black Scroll is made out of the Celestial Alphabet and is arranged in such a way that it links Drakengard and Nier together. In Drakengard, throughout the games, there are sealed ancient areas, and if you count the boss seals in Drakengard 3, they have the same exact symbols in the same order. Now, what do they mean? They are often arranged in a way that they create the letters A, C, G, and T, and represent adenine, cytosine, guanine, and thymine, all of which are found as components of DNA. The Black Scroll is representative of the fusion of the replicant and the fusion of the Gestalt's DNA going awry, and that's why it appears on the outside of the body like that.
Stay your blade. Magic is required against this foe.
I mean, you say that, but...
Oh dear.
Now it's time for this really well voice-acted scene again. Now, chat, I'm supposed to have to press buttons to advance this, but it advances itself once Emil goes off, which is a really good thing for the game to do, so it doesn't stop the momentum.
I couldn't hold it back. I can't be with you.
We're always going to be together, Kaine. If you transform again, we'll just stop it again, as many times as it takes. I don't care how tough it is, we're gonna get you back! I like sleeping outside because I'm with you, Kaine! I'm able to ignore my appearance and keep going because of you! I'm weak and sad and lonely, but somehow you make me strong! You're my friend and I need you, so you can't go away!
all right. All right. Stop crying. Thank you. I'm all right.
I really like that scene. It's well voice acted. And yes, to answer your question, Hiki, shades are the souls of humans outside of their bodies. I have explained all this before, and you should know by now. All right. He's just a pure boy. He needs no sympathy. It's a cipher of some kind. Can you determine it? Here you go. Blah, 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 blah. Go do the game again. Only this time, be so incredibly buff and strong that the game can't possibly stop you. Or even slow you down. Also, watch all the fun, new cutscene material. You thought it was over? Yeah, it's kind of like in Chrono Trigger. I very much like that part of Chrono Trigger the same way I like this part of Nier. Chrono Trigger has a slight bit more flexibility in it. In the fact that when you start your New Game Plus of Chrono Trigger, you could go fight Lavos at any given time, and it changes things. Literally, you can just be like, I want to fight Lavos as my first boss, and just be like, yeah. I saved the world right away. Let's watch the new ending, you know. Let's go to the junkie. So, seeing as you can see, we've got an ending B to work towards and stuff like that. I want to point out something I very much like about the way that Yoko Taro writes games. So, we've seen multiple different ways to write games. We've seen games that will just shove their information straight down your throat, just have a big fact dump at you halfway through the game or something like that, and be like, yeah, storytelling. And then there's times where, hey, look, we can harvest. It took 2.5 days, but we can harvest. Anyway, there's times where the game will be a lot more discreet. Like you have your Dark Souls style of storytelling, where the game gives you bits and pieces enough to stitch a story together, but it's not going to tell you a lot. It doesn't tell you a lot of things outright, and it's up to the player to grab the other bits and pieces and somehow put them together like a puzzle and finish the story themselves as best they can. That's why when I did the Dark Souls playthrough, when I did the Dark Souls lore through for you guys, there were many a time where I said, now, this may be entirely wrong, but I'm going to say it's right anyway, because I say so, ha ha ha. But I preface it with it may be wrong, because it's just what I could put together, and some people will say different things, and subscribe to a different bit of lore, but you know. Yoko Taro, on the other hand, he likes to start you off in the dark, slowly revealing things, and then by the end of the game, he likes to make sure that the full story is told. Yoko Taro likes to make sure that the people that play his games, read his stories and stuff, by the end of it, know everything that they could possibly know about that world. All questions answered, no loose threads, etc. So, if you're the kind of guy that likes answers in their stories, or the kind of person, I should say, that likes answers by the end of their stories, then we are going to get answers. Lots and lots of answers. Yes, Dark Souls has a lot of very deep lore when you dig beneath the surface of it. But when you just scratch the surface and just play through the game and go through the very base materials and stuff, Dark Souls seems like it has some lore, but is mostly kind of a bit shallow in the storytelling. But when you dig deeper, there's a lot more to it. Nier, on the other hand, starts off shallow on purpose, and then digs deeper for you. It forces you to dig deeper. Much deeper. It shoves your hand all the way in. And then when you say, no, please, Nier, I don't want to go any further, it shoves you deeper in. Please stop, I can't stop crying. My eyes are out of tears. And then it pushes you further. Or if you're a viewer who quits playing after ending A, then you're crap. Then you're crap. I don't like it. As Papa Nier would say. Excuse me, small children wearing armor. I'm going to just bowl over you now on my big pig. How many reviewers quit after ending A? Too many. There are plenty of reviewers for Nier 1 that didn't even get through ending A. In fact, I'm willing to believe that most reviewers for Nier 1 got to the end of the first half of the game. You know, that part where the Shadow Lord steals Yona, and then the game starts to become about going to try and track Yona down, and there's a 5-year time skip. I'm sure that a lot of reviewers, probably most of them even, stopped after getting to that part of the game. After all, this game, reviewers put out scores for this game in the 5 to 6 range for most of them. This sure seems like a 5 out of 10 game, right, chat? Because even just getting to ending A has some pretty heart-wrenching moments. Getting through the whole game going to crush your soul, chat.
Damn it! Where'd they go? Get him! Don't let him escape!
Are we gonna die, Mom? My child.
Over there!
You're almost grown up now, my child. Stay strong. You must run now. Do you understand? Run as fast as you can. What about you? I'll challenge them. That'll give you time to escape. No, you can't. Be safe, my child. Be safe and happy. Promise me that you will remember your mother. Mom? Mom! Wait, let's go together. Mom, wait! I think that one kind of speaks for itself. I don't think I need to voice act that one. Mom, why? Who's there?
Who are you?
Luckily, the robot talks for himself. I'm Khalil. What's your name?
Military defense robot P-33. You are an intruder. You must be eliminated. error. There is something leaking from your eyes.
So hey, the robot can talk to Shades. I'm crying, you big dumb robot. I miss my mom.
What is crying? Who is Mom?
Doesn't matter. I can't see her ever again because she's dead.
My creator is also dead. He perished hundreds of years ago.
Hundreds of years ago, really?
874 years, 10 months, 14 days, 4 hours, and 43 minutes. 44 minutes.
So chat, that's actually a very important line. Well, not very important, but an interesting line, I think. Because remember, we are 1,300 years past the events where original Papa Nier was defending Yona in the snow. This is 874 years ago that this robot's creator died. That means humanity kept going for around 500-ish years. Not sure how big the groups of humanity were, but at least 500-ish years had passed, and humanity was still around, but of course dying off. After all, humans are like cockroaches in a way. Aren't you lonely?
I am incapable of being lonely, or missing others, or crying.
I'm crying because I don't want to die.
You will die.
If the humans catch me, they're gonna kill me.
Why will they kill you?
Ah.
I will not permit the humans to kill Khalil.
Huh?
Military defense robot P-33 will protect you.
You're gonna help me?
P-33 is charged with defending others. P-33 will defend Khalil.
Yay! Thanks, robot! Since we're friends now, I'm gonna call you Beepy. P-33 was programmed to show empathy to others. P-33 was programmed to make the player cry. Its voice is a pain though? A bit, yeah. It's a little high-pitched, but it's fine.
There's gotta be tons of machinery here.
So hey, remember this cutscene?
Yeah, but I don't know how much we can actually use.
Oh wow! Check this out! It looks brand new!
So, I don't know if you guys were paying close enough attention, but the thing that starts it
I'm fine.
is Gideon being an idiot and knocking stuff over.
Oh no.
Huh?
Gideon is the one that caused his brother's death. I didn't point it out quite as strongly last time. But it all happens because Gideon wasn't being careful like his brother said.
Jacob! Jacob, no! No, this can't be happening!
Oh man, it's just so visceral that you just hear that squelch as his arm pops out. Yes, they do show Gideon walking over that metal tube that causes it in the first playthrough. It's noticeable, but some people don't notice it, so. This cutscene is 100% the exact same. Just because you saw that first cutscene earlier, in this follow-up, it takes a different context. Wow, that was scary.
The noise of the intruders caused the structure to fail. They should have proceeded with more caution. One intruder has perished.
Oh, that's terrible. I don't think they were chasing me. They seemed nice. Chat, not only did the robot in the shade not cause a damn thing to happen, they even felt bad for Gideon's brother dying in the accident. Gideon's got a real cycle of violence thing going on now because of it.
Perhaps we should speak to the brothers. They might know something about this.
Oh.
Hello again. Blah, blah, blah. Your brother's dead. Sorry to hear about that. Feels bad, man. Again, chat, if you want me to read through these again, voice act everything, feel free to ask, and I will do so. Don't we already have this weapon? Shh. These things happen the second time around. I like that. I like that they point that out. Little fourth wall nudging. Whoop. Whoop. And I'll let the rat go. Did I explain why the brother loses an arm? I did in the first playthrough, but I'll do it again, why not? Gideon's arm disappears because he felt real bad about ripping his bro's corpse's arm off at the end of that accident. He's also kind of a little bit insane. Oh look, I got the memory out of the way.
Shame about the older lad. He was but a
That was
child.
quick.
He died protecting the only family he had left. It's a damn shame.
So yes, Gideon, in his guilt-ridden, addled mind, likely mutilated his own arm out of some feeling of responsibility towards his own brother. Okay, ready? What's a ship?
A large seagoing vessel that carries freight and passengers over bodies of water.
Yay! You're so great, Beepy. You've learned so much.
You have taught me much, Kalio. You have helped to expand my vocabulary. You have instructed me in the ways of the outside world.
Well, there's tons of stuff I don't know either. Maybe we should leave here and go explore the world.
Because we are friends.
That's right! Yay, it's gonna be fun! What's this mysterious sense of dread and remorse that I feel creeping up the back of my neck? As I look at that scene. Impressive stuff, fan. I'll upgrade your weapon and I won't even charge you, because I'm totally cool and stuff. Alright. It's gonna take more time than he thought, so let's move along. Don't worry, chat. We've got some free time on our hands. Let's go to the Forest of Myth. Anyway, don't worry, chat. They're fine. See, we're leaving right now. Chat, you can stop crying. Nothing's gonna happen. We're leaving. Forest of Myth we go. If I recall correctly, the Forest of Myth really has, like, nothing different whatsoever. Damn, Kaine. Give him a chance to live for a second. Jeez. By the way, chat, as you can see, the subsequent playthrough goes by pretty quick. It's not very difficult to get yourself through the sections when A, it allows you to skip some of them, a la the memory alloy. B, you are already buff as hell because you are continuing the playthrough from where you left off. And C, because you already know where to go. Smooth it out a bit. There's just a couple things I think they could have streamlined a bit better, like the block puzzle. I wish the block puzzles weren't still there, because they're not really even puzzles, it's just move the blocks a little bit. Shades or ghosts? Are those kids shades? The small shades are children. Yes, they are.
This is the village from the dream.
Yeah.
Truly a nightmare I hope never to experience again.
I hear you.
I like that you can still hear them talk while saving and stuff.
Ah!
Divine Tree is weird. I know why the Divine Tree is weird, chat. You know? I mean, some members of chat know. I know. Yoko Taro knows. The fact that you don't know is just kind of embarrassing for you. Okay. I believe this is exactly the same as the last time we were here, so if anything... Well, I say exactly the same, but the questions, the correct answers to questions are kind of procedurally generated. Hey, remember, child is here brought low by disease, far too young to have suffered so. Thin beyond words, the boy's skin is a shade paler than the bleached hospital sheets upon which he lies. So chat, that is the white chlorination syndrome taking hold of the child. And the boy is going to fade into a pillar of salt. The girl disappears, the boy dies alone. Female warrior. Now we just need to pay attention for the number. Again, if you want to hear me reading this epically to you, then go back to the previous episodes up on my YouTube. And I will do so from the past. A red dragon falls from the heavens. Ah, that memory has been lost, a shame. It was a favorite of mine. Hey! So, that is the memory of what started everything, ending E of Drakengard. Also, this is the first part in the game in which we learn that shades are thinking creatures. As we touch a shade. What color was the color of Lost Envy? Green. Shade has intelligence and emotion. Who cares? $23. Most important thing in the world is Yona. Hooray! Yeah, Hiki, I explained that in the most recent video that went up on YouTube, is that they learn magic because of Kaim and his kind coming over from their world. It's not necessarily just from the Dragon Corpse, but it's from the new element that was introduced into their world from the various monsters that had come over. Partially the Dragon Corpse, partially the, just the new element that they had found because of it. All of the world's problems are because of Kaim from Drakengard. What a dick. And I don't mean just all of the world's problems in this game, I also mean all of the world's problems in Drakengard. Kaim, enemy of the people. Yeah, I'll kill you, little shades. I will slaughter these children. Rip and tear until it is done. Hey, I wonder if we got a letter back from the brother. Wonder if he finished fixing up that weapon for us.
Hey.
Listen to inform you that the upgrade work on your weapon has been completed. Blah, 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 blah. Let's go hang out with him. He has a new request of us, chat. I wonder what it could be. I'm sure it's just testing the new weapon because, I mean, he's a weapons maker, but it's not like he's got big beefy arms to swing a weapon around or anything. I'm sure that's all he wants us to do, right? Chat, you can read all you want. This has to happen. I don't feel any happier about it than you. Oh no. Alright, everything worked out in the end. Boar found his way. Scream all you want, chat. You're gonna get this lore. I'm gonna give you all of this lore, and there's not a damn thing that can happen to stop it. All of it. Can you give me bits to just play Fate Go? It's gotta be an awful lot of bits there, Lazy Melon. An awful lot.
Hey there.
Hey, your weapon's ready.
You know,
Hey, do me a
I
favor.
need
With a
to
weapon
act-
like that, I need you to
Alexa,
go
it's my mission. I
avenge
don't
my
care
brother.
about
What?
the ones in
Your brother?
Yeah.
And
It's killing time. Talk about BB's story after I killed the boss or after I play Nier Automata. Why would I talk about it in Nier Automata? Come on now. No reason. There would be no reason for that. Let's go. I will avenge your brother by stabbing you, because you're the one that caused it. It's all your fault, Gideon. You did it to yourself. Well, Red Gideon should be the one killed for this. Yeah, but it's not like Papa Nier knows that. All Papa Nier knows is that, according to Gideon, his brother was killed by a shade and a machine. Of course, Papa Nier, being the upstanding gentleman that he is, agrees to remove this dangerous threat from the area.
Help shape the life of his brother.
I already have maxed out broken antenna. Ba 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 ba. Oh, wait. go on the tram ride. All of the tracks are really good. Just absolutely body my way through everything now. So, in the second playthrough, story-wise, the game really wants to make you feel like you are a monster doing monstrous things. You know what really helps to make you feel like a monster? The fact that you can just absolutely annihilate everything in your path as though it were nothing. Being so powerful that nothing really poses much of a threat to you definitely helps make you feel like a monster. Nothing posing a threat just makes you bored. Well, you can always kick the difficulty up to as high as possible. Enemies, at the very least, have enough health that they don't die in one hit. On hard difficulty. But the thing is, the gameplay in Nier isn't necessarily the strong suit, so I'm not of a personal opinion where I think that's the biggest issue with the game at all. If I want good gameplay, then I'd play, you know, like a Bayonetta or a Devil May Cry or a Metal Gear Rising, for example. But I want good story. And this game definitely delivers on that part right now. I'm the monster, not you. You're not wrong. Definitely not wrong on that. What do you think about Valkyria Chronicles? I like Valkyria Chronicles. He's good. Thank you. Wanted that item, damn it.
I've never heard of a shade living with a machine. What's that about?
Doesn't matter. I'll kill the Shade and anyone who gets in my way.
Our hero. Oh, doesn't matter. I'll kill him. Kill them all. A free mobile rhythm game? Just play some idle games. All right, chat. Let us continue the Feels train. Are you guys ready to feel like the biggest hero in the world, chat?
Intruder detected. Scanning. Scanning.
So part of the reason why P-33 does that little shooting in the shooting up like that is because he's trying to intimidate us to run away.
Scanning. Exterminating.
Do it, BP! Beat him good!
Look at the Shade!
Their theme is commanding the robot somehow.
Aim for the legs. Knock it down.
Take out the Shade!
Exterminating. In.
BP, stop! That's enough! You're gonna be destroyed if you keep fighting!
Must defend my mission.
No! I can't live without you! I don't want to be alone again!
No! Damn it! That's a Shade! It's a Shade!
You wonder why Kaine had that line?
Kill him. Feel the hate inside you.
You were wondering why Kaine had that pretty weird line that seemed odd. It's because that's what she was hearing during the fight.
Exterminating. In.
And chat, you feel like a huge hero
Transform?
beating up this broken robot and this child? What a big, strong hero Nier Man is.
Watch for falling debris!
Look out!
BP, what are you doing?
Escape. Go. See the world.
Wait! No, you can stop now!
Must protect. Must fight.
Yeah. So chat, the whole thing of him saying he must protect, he must fight, must escape, isn't him trying to save himself or anything. It's him trying to save the Shade child.
Swat him down! I'm getting killed here!
Alright, I think that's it for the dialogue. Let's feel like a big, strong hero. Like a big, strong hero. BB, stop! You're my best friend in the whole world, you gotta stop! Hey chat, this is kind of odd where all the other shades come from. I'm not entirely sure. But hey chat, remember when I pointed out that the little shade on the robot doesn't attack you at all? Little shade on the robot literally never attacks you. Because little Khalil isn't powerful enough to attack anything. Also, as I said before, you are not allowed to back down at all. And you have to be the one that puts the killing blow down. You have to be the hero that slaughters this child and his robot friend. Yeah, I'm so pumped I got to kill that child. What a hero. What a big, strong hero.
Must defend my mission.
His mission was to protect Khalil.
Mission.
BB, I'm sorry. I'm not strong enough. I wanted to be with you forever.
Khalil, together. BP alone. BP, cry.
BP wasn't programmed to cry, chat.
You stupid machine! You killed my family! You took everything from me! Why did you have to be here?
Beautiful. What a perfect example of humanity.
Hitting that thing won't bring your brother back.
But he's dead! And it's this bastard's fault! And hitting it makes me feel better! Just wait, you freak! You goddamn freak! I'm gonna explore this entire mountain now! I'll make terrible weapons! Killing machines! No one can stop me!
Yeah.
We are the heroes, right, chat?
Madness driven by hate. This is hardly the happy ending I was expecting.
He doesn't know any other way.
Revenge is a fool's errand.
I know.
So if you're wondering why there was sad music playing at the end of that boss fight, it wasn't sad music over Gideon's brother being dead. sad music over Beepy and Khalil being dead. Because they did nothing wrong, chat. Nothing at all. Perspective is fun, isn't it? What's here is that we can hear shades. We are now hearing the game from Kaine's perspective. We are still seeing and playing the game through Papa Nier, but we can now hear what Kaine could hear throughout the entire game. Kaine, having kind of merged with a shade, can hear shades' voices and knows what they're actually saying. Why did his brother die? Because on an expedition to go find scrap, Gideon stepped on a pipe by accident that rolled into another thing and knocked down a bunch of debris, and Jacob dove in the way to knock Gideon out of the way. Jacob died because Gideon wasn't being careful. Gideon basically caused his own brother's death. Why is Kaine being quiet? I wonder, chat. I sure wonder. I wonder if that'll be explained. Let my pig in, too. On a second playthrough, yes, we have completed the game once and got ending A. We are now on our way to ending B. What's up with that robot? Well, Vidzor, watch the VOD. Hey, Popola, do you happen to have any new info for me? You're not happy anymore? Good. This is not a happy game. This is a sad, sad, depressing game. The bot had to be there. It's a circumstance of wrong place at the wrong time. And catching the flack for something you didn't do. Very real world parallels there.
Hey.
Learn anything new about the Shadow Lord's key? Oh yeah, you know, the Airy. Hey chat, remember when the Airy turned into a village full of shades that attacked us? Boy. Wonder what it's gonna be like to know what they're saying. Well, here's the thing. Gideon grew up with a bit of prejudice towards the robots anyway, considering the fact that anytime they go to try and scrap metal, get some scrap metal and make, you know, do their living and make money and stuff like that, whether it's them, their mother, or any other random person, they get attacked by robots. Gideon would have looked for an excuse to blame the robots, even if he looked around and saw absolutely nothing there. He still would have likely blamed the robots on his brother's death.
Cannot
Big
fathom
strong
that
man, you
village
don't
opening
cry?
mercantile. Must have
Yeah.
truly opened their minds.
You think so? I have my doubts.
Aren't you glad to be going back home, Kaine?
That place is a shithole.
Don't be so nervous, Kaine. We'll protect you.
I got me taken care of. Worry about protecting yourself.
We do not desire. We do not desire needless conflict. If we can continue to live with humans,
Then we can continue to live peacefully.
but that man will come. Yes, that man will come. He will kill us all. He will kill our women and children. What should we do? Ooh, the village. It's home to so many terrible little memories, isn't it, Kaine?
Shut up, shut up, shut up!
Man, sure was odd when Kaine let that particular shut up, shut up, shut up out when we got here. On top of that, when we look at the opening text there, it is the villagers saying, well, we've done it. We figured it out. We're living, we're technically shades living amongst humans. We found a way to do so. But that guy's gonna come and kill us all. We are the boogeyman, chat. Nier man is the boogeyman. In terms of the shades. They talk about us like we're a horrifying monster that's going to come and slaughter them all eventually. 'Cause, well, we are. That's why they set up this ambush to try and stop us from eventually coming to kill them, and as a further reach to kill all the shades. The shades just want to live a quiet life, chat.
You'll be destroyed! All of you!
I'm scared. The Shades attacked again.
So yeah, the Shades, quote-unquote, attacking aren't necessarily even attacking. They might just be, you know, living in the area. Before we go, let's grab that item. Could be something good. And it was not.
I'm scared. You!
You, I know you. Yeah, everyone knows Nierman. Slayer of Shades.
Hey.
Do, 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 do. All right, chat, are you ready? Ready to find out what these Shades have to say?
Everyone?
Everyone. We're going to defeat every last Shade.
Oh, crap.
Look out! This man is a Shade.
It's a trap!
I thought as much.
What? I got bored.
1,000 apologies. We were distracted by the local welcoming party.
Mind if I join you?
Dialogue in English, but asking if it's Japanese version.
Kaine, the villagers are possessed.
But not all of them. Some are still human, so be careful.
Oh yes, this is Gestalt, aka the only version that was released in the West. Replicant wasn't released in the West, so yeah. It's not in Japanese or the easiest way to tell is what does the main character look like. So far they haven't said anything, chat. Looks like they're just a bunch of mindless Shades, right? Just a bunch of mindless Shades.
Get out of here! No! I'm not going to abandon my sister!
Kaine, who are they?
Don't believe her. This woman's a Shade.
My sister! No!
And this kid needs to stop smoking cigarettes. His voice is too gruff.
You! You people are the true monsters!
That's why
Stay
close-up's on
back.
Kaine.
Your sister is one
Not
of
because
them
Kaine
now.
cut him down, but because Kaine's been
care.
feeling a little
She's my
iffy about
sister and I
things
love
with the latest dialogues we've been getting from the Shades. Why have you done this? We just wanted to live our lives. Oh, we can actually hear them properly.
Stop it! Don't hurt my sister!
What madness. These people are behaving as if we are the villains.
You are the ones who should die.
Kaine, look out!
Kill them! Kill them now!
No! You've got to stop this! I'm trying to save you from the shades. Please, please stop!
Emil!
We need to get out of here. Kaine, get up! Hurry!
Oh, the little vixen has finally run out of steam. Is it my turn now? Are you sure about that, sunshine?
Stop this at once!
Leave us in peace! Why did you have to come? Everything was fine until you appeared.
And they're not wrong. Damn it, Kaine, get up. Gotta get up. Mia, watch Kaine. I'll go clean up over there. They're entirely correct. Everything was fine until we showed up. Oh wait, I don't need to go there. What am I doing?
Help me, please.
Who are the humans?
Who are the humans? Yeah, good question.
I blame you for all this.
I mean, you right. Whoops.
Sis!
Double whoops. Alright, let's just make it.
Get them!
What's that?
So, this boss, as we've been learning the boss names, it's not going to straight tell us the name, but this boss is named Wendy.
That thing sucked up the villagers.
Stop! We killed them all! I can't!
Remember, we got that bit of dialogue the first time we came through here. Even without seeing it through Kaine's perspective.
I feel something from within the bulb.
The strength of the villagers' conviction was strong enough to bypass the language barrier the first time we came through.
Is this the true power of the Shades?
It will take more than a barrage of magic to stop us. The first to waver is the first to die. I sense magic coming from the middle of that eye.
Wow, what a block. Well played, Wendy. Well played.
Wait, stop! I think those are people!
Hold nothing back. Those are shades.
See, Emil's dialogue is there to help tip you off that, yes, shades are people.
The surrounding tentacles appear to deflect magic. Such agility! Now, focus your magic on the beast's center!
We're heroes!
Look out! Something's coming!
It's the laser light show! Pretty sure I could just let that hit me and it would do basically nothing to me anyway, so...
Its weak point is located around the back. Attack it from above. Emil! Emil!
I'll keep it busy! You should be able to attack! From behind! Go around! Get it! Please, hurry!
The lad can take care of himself. We must circle to the creature's rear.
So yeah, chat, absolutely none of this wanton death and killing would have happened if we didn't come here.
You must strike it in the eye.
These shades had done it. They had gained enough sapience and intelligence to blend into human society without being found out. They figured it out. They did it. They won. But unfortunately for them, Nierman exists.
Are you there yet?
Did we get it? It is escaping to the inner level.
I'm coming. Gotta catch my breath.
Careful, Emil. It won't help anyone if we lose you here. God damn it! We beat the hell out of that thing! How can it still move?
Its combined powers are beyond even my greatest suspicion. Unless we slay the core, all hope is lost.
Oh, what incredible damage. Oh, it hurts. Oh, it hurts so much.
Come on! Help me take it out!
I'm on it.
Now it's time to feel like the big hero again. We are the strongest and the bravest. Look at how we genocided that town.
Emil? Emil, wait! He's gone. His instincts have taken hold. The ultimate weapon is being deployed.
This ain't good, Sunshine.
Kinda wish they could have held on that shot a little longer. Make you wonder if Emil truly lost himself or not.
What have I done? I killed innocent people. I killed them all.
But you saved our lives. Didn't you? If it wasn't for you, we'd all be dead. We owe you. It's all right.
Yeah, Emil, you killed that entire village, but at least we're alive. Starting to see, when you put even more perspective, like that's already a very selfish and horrifying thing to say. You add that perspective to it on top of it, and wow, yeah. Nier Man is kind of a monster. Hey, Ludes TV, thank you for the raid. Welcome to Feels Bad, man. This is Feels Bad, man, the video game. How you guys doing? Maybe Popola has some new information. Hey, chat, look at the time of day. It was a little bit dark for a second there. Interesting. Almost like twilight. Thanks, Mr. Boar, for the fast transport. Good night, Ludes. Thanks for the raid. Have a good sleep, dude.
Hey.
You're back. Learned anything new about the Shiloh's Key? No, but... I mean, I don't know what Loyal Cerberus means, but... Hey, by the way... Got some mail. Bedtime for you two. Aren't see you, Conathies. Have a good night. Chat, we've got some mail. You need the Loyal Cerberus key. You remember what that means, right? As per Rule 25,000, blah, 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 blah. Hey, King of Facades getting married. Let's go hang out with him, shall we? Surely a wedding will help cheer us up in this, in these darkest of times. No goat hides? Darn, that's unfortunate. Rare item. Indeed. Bum, 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 bum. You turned our beautiful forests into this. No, my brother. We dare not. We cannot defeat these humans in direct combat. Have faith in me. I know they can learn to live alongside others. I know it well. So, remember when we got that offhand comment from one of the Masked Village people that apparently this entire area used to be lush and green and forested? according to Wolfie there, apparently it's no longer like that because the people of the land didn't work it properly. Let it fall into this ruinous desert because they over-harvested.
Hey.
So chat, we've had some very sad parts. Honestly, I think the saddest thing came from the hour-and-a-half long reading of Kaine's backstory at the beginning of the stream. But this one's pretty rough too, so I hope you're ready.
I hear it.
My deep.
Forgive my...
Hey, it's
You're
Vera.
Kaine. How can...
Hurry! One of our brothers is caught in a human trap. Why would they hunt us? Bunch of flea-ridden curs. Good riddance to you. Can't be letting them spoil the king's wedding, eh? What a happy wedding occasion. What a nice happy wedding occasion. Hey Emil, you want to marry me? I understand, Emil. You're a cool dude.
Finding lack of in a met trust.
アルテルアッチさったた対決と
Oh, this last stream, what's going on? You should watch the VOD. What's going on is the poor doggos were slaughtered. Pretty tough wolf to keep going with 2 spears in his body like that. Be strong, young one. Fight! They even killed the puppies. They killed the children too, chat. What have we done to earn such wrath? You are right, my brother. We move tonight. The humans will pay for what they have done. Hey, chat. The wolves didn't attack first. The wolves weren't the ones that started the conflict in this cycle of violence. It was the masked people.
How nice! A wedding! Flowers everywhere, everyone's happy. It's great! I'm kinda jealous. Aren't you kinda jealous, Kaine? Oh, come on.
Dance the dance. Alright, seal the wedding with a kiss. So yeah, Wolfie, I get it, but I don't think you needed to slam Fira's spine against a rock. Maybe you should have killed a guard, but I guess you wanted it to hurt as much as you hurt.
That wolf is a shade.
You raped our forests and poisoned our streams. And now you slaughter our young. We will abide your existence no longer, mankind. You will atone for your sins with blood. So if you hadn't noticed the first time that cutscene had happened where the wolf roared and they ran away, the wolves were already panting and tired when they first arrived. That's because some of them were injured, some of them had been running for a long time.
I would rethink this course of action, King. Ahead lies a battle you cannot win.
This is another situation where it's a very big cycle of violence theme, where it's hard to even trace back who began the first violent act, or how long ago it really was, but the fight's been going on for so long that once one indiscretion goes one step too far, it escalates into full-on war. And we're gonna go help him out now. Charge into the wolf's den. Obviously. So chat, you remember, at the end of ending A, when I said that Yoko Taro wanted to write a story in which everyone thought that they were in the right, and they were fighting to protect their own values and morals, and that he wanted to be able to show that on both sides. When I said that, I meant everyone. I wasn't talking just about the Shadow Lord. I was talking about every single enemy, every single boss, everything we ever faced in a fight has had its own sapience, has had its own values and core beliefs that it was trying to protect. And when you see the perspective shifted just ever so slightly to the left, and you can see where they were coming from, they were right to try and fight you to the death and to try and beat you back. Is this all that remain? The humans will be upon us shortly. We can make our escape if we move now. I hear you, my brothers. And I share your desire to die with honor. Your resolve is strong, and your pack thanks you. The lives of our comrades, for the pride of our pack. Death to the invaders. The wolves could have even ran before we got there. But their pride and their desire for revenge was too strong for them. Which, of course, ultimately leads to this.
The wolves appear to be targeting the king. He seeks the king of Facade. Unwavering defiance. Why do these beasts hold so much rage?
So yeah, you were wondering about Grimoire Vice asking that. You now have the context for why they hold so much rage. We can never forgive you, humans. There shall never be peace between us.
Above you, stay on your guard.
Told to trivialize the game button a little while. Let me get some dialogue out. I think he doesn't have any more dialogue. Would there be a compromise? It's hard to come to a compromise when they don't speak each other's languages. What a big hero we are. Those were my very words, human. What have we done to deserve such a fate? Remember when I asked if you felt sad for the doggo with his sad upturned eyes, chat? The first time we did this fight? Do you feel sad for the doggo now, chat? Most of you said no. The first time. If you were wondering where the shade dog came from,
but you must endure. Go, live, and think of me now and again. Thank you for being my friend.
remember when he said that he knew that humans could learn to coexist with them that he knew that lesson well. My father. And that's why the key is called the Loyal Cerberus key.
I believe that young... Of course, she was... Is that another... This is the last of them.
Now we can find the Shadow Lord. We're almost there.
Chat, this game makes me want to cry a lot.
We should return to Popola and see if she has any final words for us.
Like, just look how different every single boss fight we went through has felt. All because we did one simple thing, one very simple thing. That was that we could hear the thoughts of the bosses while fighting them. It's such a simple difference, and it changes the context and the feeling of every single fight. And it's not only doing that, but it's the fact that they do it so well. The game does it so very, very, they do so much justice to every single side of the story. There is no real point where you can straight up say that you are the good guy once you've played through the game, or where you can say that you're the bad guy. Sometimes you're doing objectively the wrong thing. Sometimes you are slaughtering an innocent child that has never hurt anyone and his robot friend.
I marvel at how relatively simple a task this retrieval process proved to be. It is almost as if someone deliberately set us on this path.
You're
It is,
overthinking again,
isn't
Bryce.
it?
But
I don't
What
care
a-
if it's a trap. Yona's waiting for me.
What a
and
good
I'm
foreshadowing Grimoire Vice had.
see.
Almost as if someone set you on the path, aka the only person that you ever talked to that pointed you in the right direction again and again. Opala.
I guess he's leaving, isn't he?
Devil is not here. We're at that point in the game. So, chat, we are once more approaching the very end of the game. However, as you can see, there are plenty of side quests available for us. So, we are going to take a break from the horrible depression feels train, and I will be doing some side quests. And we will be starting those on the next stream, I think. Today's going to be a little bit of a shorter stream day. But my heart hurts. So we're going to go ahead and take a break here. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the horrible depression, as we will be doing some side quests tomorrow. I will see you then. Have a good night, everybody.